I wrote the book because I had experienced having my brother incarcerated for 15 years. And during that time, I didn't speak about it. And so I've invited some long-time friends to join this conversation to talk about the hidden sentence. Because for 15 years, I was serving that hidden sentence. Even though my brother was incarcerated, I was serving the sentence on the outside, because it was really difficult when somebody you love is incarcerated, that it's really hard to enjoy your life, to be happy. However, I've learned that you can be, that you can have a good life, and that you can still support your loved one. And one of the reasons that I wrote the book was to share this information with everybody, to provide them with information on things that I didn't know. There was a lot of things when my brother was incarcerated that I wasn't aware of, that I wish I knew. And when he was incarcerated, the internet wasn't prevalent back then. So it was really difficult to get information. And it was difficult to talk to people, because even if I had friends that you'll learn about as we go through this, friends that had a family member incarcerated, we didn't speak about it and we didn't tell each other. So it was very, very lonely. And also I was not very present during that time. So once I decided to talk about it, once I found my voice, and we'll be talking about that too, how that happened, I was able to help a lot of people. And I realized that by sharing information, that people that had somebody that was incarcerated wouldn't feel alone. And that I wanted to build a platform where people could go to talk to other people, and also to learn. And for people that haven't been affected by incarceration, people that say, I don't know anybody that's ever been incarcerated, the chances are that you do. Because in the United States, there's over 2 million people in prison, and then over 4 million people that are in jail, on probation, or parole. So there's millions of family members on the outside that are affected, and it also affects their coworkers, it affects society as a whole. And by reading the book, it will also teach people how to talk to other people, to understand, to have compassion for people that are going through this, because it's something that people don't think about. When somebody's incarcerated, they might not be down the street. They might be incarcerated in another state. If they're in a federal prison, they could be anywhere in the United States. And I don't know if everybody knows the difference between a jail and prison, but I wanted to share that with you. A jail is when somebody gets arrested, they're usually taken to a local jail. And if they are convicted and have to serve a sentence, if it's less than a year, they'll usually be sentenced in the jail. But if it's for over a year or longer periods of times, they're going to be sent to a prison. And there's so many things that you need to know that it's not common knowledge. And these are things that I have in the book. My goal and my wish for this book is that it helps a lot of people out there so that they don't have to go through what I went through. My brother and I were really close when we were growing up. I was his older sister. And so when he got in trouble, it wasn't something that we knew anybody that was ever incarcerated or in trouble. So it was a real shock to myself and my family. And we didn't know what to do. So we learned, and I learned the hard way. And that's the information that's in the book. The book provides information on what to do when somebody's arrested, what to do when you go to visit them. How do you handle the whole court thing? What is it like seeing your loved one shackled in a uniform and not being able to talk to them? I mean, there's so many things that people don't think about, and especially if they're incarcerated far away, there's an emotional and a financial burden that people don't realize. So there's people, everyday people that you see every day that don't talk about it, that could be affected by this. And by reading this book, you're going to learn how to be able to support them and have more compassion. I want to say that I'm not a lawyer. So whatever we say, whatever you read in the book, it's not legal advice. It's based on my experience and what I've learned during the 15 years that my brother was incarcerated. And it was a tough journey. And I've had a few friends who have read the book, and they were like, Julia, we didn't know you were going through this. And of course they didn't, because I didn't talk about it. I didn't tell them. So it was really, really a difficult time. And when I found my voice, I found out that there was just so many people out there that needed somebody to talk to. And that's why I started my podcast, where people could tell their stories. And there's some people on here that actually have told their stories. And I think it really helped them and helped a lot of other people. I want everybody in the United States to read this book, because it's going to help them. It's going to help them understand what it's like. For those that have somebody incarcerated, it's going to help them not feel alone. It's going to see that what they went through or what they're going through, that other people are going through it. It's going to raise awareness to people that haven't been affected. And also it's going to prepare people if, and I hope it doesn't happen, but if a family member is arrested, what do you do and how do you handle it? So that's why I wrote the book, just to help people, to create a platform and to just help people so that they don't have to go through what I did, and to learn from the lessons that I did. So I'd like to start by bringing in Keith. And Keith, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, hello.
Hi, Keith.
Hi.
So Keith is somebody that heard my story and was very influential in this book coming to fruition. And I want to pass it over to you. I'm going to put you in the window here.
All right. Hello, hello.
Yeah, it's all yours.
Thank you everyone for being here. I can say that I feel blessed that I was one of the few first people that saw Julia speak and about this subject, and to share her heart and be vulnerable in front of a room full of people. And not only did it touch me and remind me of when my uncle went to prison and what I went through with that story, but what I found interesting was after she spoke, everybody was coming up and I could hear them saying, oh, you should write a book, you should write a book. And everybody's telling her, you should write a book. And I'm sitting back in the background a little bit because I am a best-selling author and a book publisher. So I kind of let everybody else get that out of the way. And then I came up and said, I too think that you should write a book. And not only do I think you should write it, but I would love to support you in any way that I can to get this mission and this message out to the world. So I am blessed to have been part of supporting this beautiful book and this project. And I have to say, like, I'm so incredibly proud of you, Julia, because as I shared with you at the event, and those of you that are watching and listening right now, 8 out of 10 people in the world want to write a book. It's actually 84%, but less than 0.2% will ever achieve it. And so there are a lot of things, a lot of hoops to be jumped through, a lot of things that you have to face, demons when you're writing a book, a lot of hurdles to jump, a lot of appointments that you have to keep with yourself to write. You know, there's so much to it, and I know what it takes to get a book done. And so so I'm incredibly proud of you for getting it done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to go back to the first time you heard me speak. And it was my first time telling the story to an audience. And it was my first time being really vulnerable, and you were there.
Yeah.
And it was quite, for me, quite powerful. And afterwards, the way that it affected people, it made me realize I had to tell the story. I had to be a spokesperson. I had to raise awareness. And
yeah, it was amazing to witness.
Yeah, and now now well, I still get a little nervous, right? Because, being vulnerable is not easy. However, I just really appreciate it. And you were there and you encouraged me to write the book. I don't think I would have done it without you.
Oh, thank you. I'm just proud to have been a part of it. Um, and good on you, because you're in the top 2%. And that's another thing that I forgot to share with everybody is that, so few people finish a book.
And Keith, thank you for taking your time to speak with us and coming on and being the first person and showing everybody how it happened. It was just a matter of speaking.
It's my pleasure, and I wish I had this book when my uncle went to prison. I found out it was on the news. That's how I found out that he was going to jail. I hadn't heard anything about it, and then I see it on the news. And then when he went in jail to prison, everybody disowned him. Like everybody, his own family, everybody turned on him, and I literally was the only person that didn't. And so we wrote letters back and forth for years, and he was just touched and blown away that he actually had somebody to connect with, that somebody still loved him and didn't turn their back on him. But it sure would have helped to have this book at that time.
And what people don't realize is that people that are incarcerated, they're going to be coming out. They're going to be coming to your hometowns, right? So it's in our best interest to keep them healthy, to keep the family on the outside healthy, to keep the communication. So when they do come out, that they do have the support that they need, and it does reduce recidivism. So I commend you for having that conversation with them. And sometimes people might be afraid to write to somebody in prison. However, it really is helpful.
And Mara and I, even after we had written our relationship book, we actually went into a prison where there were people that were either about to get out or they were at the end. It was like that place. And we went and did a relationship workshop. And it was so amazing, because you want to talk about a group of people that was just all in for the process. It was amazing. And so many people that come up that were just afterwards, that were just about to get out, saying, oh my God, thank you. Now I have tools. I feel like I'll be able to communicate with my wife when I get out. And I really didn't know what to say before you guys got here. So that was amazing as well. And hearing the things that they shared in that workshop just was huge insight into the process, what they go through.
And there's that part where you're preparing the returning citizen, but then the other part is preparing the family. And so I'm going to say it out loud. That's probably going to be my next book, is the prison family, and providing support and information for the family to prepare for somebody coming out, because it's not the same person. And also for preparing how other people are going to act towards you, because you think you have a neighbor and their son or daughter or husband, wife is coming home from prison. And I think a lot of people will, avoid them. So that's another thing this book opens awareness, so you won't be so afraid. They're people. We're humanizing everybody. Everybody is human.
Yes. Well, thank you for being the mouthpiece for that.
I didn't choose it. I guess I did choose it, but it just felt like something I had to do, right? I just had to do it. And
yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you.